Thank you so much, guys, for turning to this brand new video. President Trump is openly ordering Republican governors to cancel elections, and I think he is heading towards the biggest defeat in the history in the upcoming midterms of 2026. First of all, take a look at this important video, guys.
Unfortunately, we begin the day with some alarming major breaking news about the 2026 midterms and future elections. Donald Trump is openly panicking that he and his party are headed for defeat in November if the midterms are anything close to approaching a fair fight. So now he's publicly ordering Republican governors and Republican state legislatures to cancel their elections. Cancel their elections, even if they're already in progress, which many are, in order to go back and redraw the voting maps, to rig the voting maps and thus the elections in favor of the Republicans by taking seats away from the Democrats. And folks, at least one red state is already complying. Louisiana, they issued a state of emergency to cancel an election that was already in progress. Ballots had gone out and been returned, and they are canceling those elections in Louisiana in order to redraw the voting maps in favor of Trump and the Republican Party. And Trump is trying to get all other red states to do this. This is a 5-alarm fire. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, first I want to refer you to this article by Democracy Docket, which is Mark Elias's outfit. And Mark Elias is doing superhuman work trying to fight Republican election rigging and election stealing and gerrymandering across the country. So make sure you are subscribed to Democracy Docket as well. As they write, Trump issues demand that states cancel elections and rig maps for the GOP after Calais. After the Supreme Court gutted a key provision in the Voting Rights Act, Donald Trump insisted over the weekend that Republicans should rig political maps in their favor ahead of the upcoming midterms.
What President Trump is saying at several positions, at several locations, like on stage, we might lose the midterms of 2026. It's a history. The governing party, the party who is in the government, they might lose a midterm election, and it's the history. But now President Trump is planning to defeat Democrats in any way. Like, he is trying his best, but he is going to lose this election. A lot of polls say he started a war that 65% of Americans are opposing for. They say it's an unwanted war. We don't want this. We want cheaper prices of each and everything. That's the main concern of common people of USA. And Trump is unpopular nowadays. I cannot tell you the situation of the midterms of 2026 in November. But right now, nowadays, President Trump is so much unpopular in whole USA. In fact, whole world as well.
Even if that means scrapping active investigations. In his latest alarming outburst on social media, Trump said Sunday that the Supreme Court's 6-3 decision in Louisiana v. Calais required states to redraw their electoral maps, claiming that races held under current maps would be unconstitutional. So this is the tweet. He says, "We cannot allow there to be an election that is conducted unconstitutionally simply for the convenience of state legislatures. If they have to vote twice, so be it. If people have to vote twice, so be it. If you have to cancel votes that have already been returned, so be it. If people can't ultimately vote as a consequence of this, so be it. We should demand that state legislatures do what the Supreme Court says must be done. That's more important than administrative convenience. The byproduct is that the Republicans will receive more than 20 House seats in the upcoming midterms." So again, he's being very transparent. This is about getting 20 seats in the midterms. He lays it all out. There's no speculation. There's no inference. He just says the quiet part out loud. I'll also note the convenience. When the Supreme Court occasionally rules against them, as they did with tariffs, Trump suggests that the court is illegitimate and partisan and bought by foreign interests and should be ignored. Now he says everybody should obey the Supreme Court, right? Because it's politically convenient for him. The Supreme Court's decision all but vacated a provision in the VRA restricting racial gerrymandering and racial discrimination in voting by declaring Louisiana's congressional map, which included 2 majority black districts, unconstitutional. In response to the court's decision, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry declared an emergency and halted ongoing U.S. House primaries in the state to allow the GOP-controlled legislature to enact a new gerrymander before the midterms. Beyond Louisiana, the ruling has also triggered an onrush of Republican redistricting efforts in Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Tennessee, all of which are aimed at wiping out black political power. In his post, Trump did not clarify that redistricting after Calais would largely benefit the GOP only through the elimination of majority-minority districts across the southern states, which would dramatically diminish minority representation in Congress. Facing disastrous polling ahead of the midterms, Trump and the GOP have turned to politically gerrymandering electoral maps in their favor. The Supreme Court's ruling last week likely made that much easier, though Democrats have vowed to respond with political gerrymanders of their own. So again, he says, if you have to issue states of emergency, so be it. If you have to cancel active elections that are ongoing, so be it. If it screws over the voters, so be it. We need to steal 20 seats in order to avoid losing because we can't win on the merits. That's Trump's logic. Democratic Governor Gavin.
You know, can you imagine Trump started this war? Trump is saying, I'm so much popular. Trump is saying, but the polls are saying that is different. The polls, even on Fox News, they are saying President Trump is so much unpopular. But what President says, he says, I'm so much popular, even in outside of USA as well. People are thanking me for starting this war with Iran. And he might be thinking, I can win this election easily, the midterms of 2026.
Newsom, during an interview with Brian Tyler Cohen, friend of the show recently, was asked about this, and he weighed in on what Louisiana decided to do. Remember, it's dangerous enough coming as an order from the President of the United States, but at least one state has already effectively complied with that order. So we are seeing the results in effect, and we could see more as well. But let's hear from Governor Newsom.
For things to change, you have to change. We have to change. So our approach has to be even more aggressive than we even could have imagined just days ago, let alone weeks ago. So look, going forward, this is going to have profound and consequential impact on the map in this country. And obviously the impact to the Black community is off the charts.
Yeah.
The reality is we don't know yet how consequential it will be for the 2026 election, but we do know with some certainty that there's upwards of 19 or so seats conceivably that they can take back by 2028. But what Landry did, to your point, is jaw-dropping. Talk about not normal. The guy suspended the election. He declared a state of emergency to suspend an election where they had already sent the ballots
because
out
God forbid Black people get to vote for their preferred candidate in their district.
To take one or two districts to get rid of Black majority districts. Think about that. In the South in 2025, not 19 or 20. I mean, 19. I mean, this is literally two districts conceivably to eliminate Black representation, suspends the election on May 16th. After literally ballots were sent overseas into the military, people were starting to vote. They're starting this weekend, more formally, on early voting. And we're going on with the rest of our lives. None of this is normal. And again, it's a preview, we keep saying it, of everything to come. And so we have got to sort of redouble our efforts at the state levels. We have upwards of 10 seats looking at 2028. If we can win back state houses, now the whole playing field is about legislative races. And we can get up to about 2022 to compete. But right now, there's an asymmetry. They've got about a 2-to-1 advantage potentially going into 2028.
Well, guys, I just want to know, where are Trump supporters nowadays? I cannot see on social media, even the mainstream, only the political commentators or the Republican political commentators. I can literally see them on mainstream media, even on social media, the YouTube channels of political commentators. They're feeling embarrassed, and they are trying their best to defend President Trump at this war, at the situation of USA. And Trump might be thinking, I can win this election easily. I'm talking about midterm of 2026. So what are your plans? Are you going to vote again for President Trump? Are you satisfied with President Trump so far? And it's the second term of Trump. Trump did a lot of promise during election campaign. I clearly remember that he said, I will cut gasoline up to 50% and price of gasoline, and he was saying, I will decrease the prices of groceries, each and everything. I will make cheaper, everything cheaper. So what do you say? Did he fulfill the promises? And first he said, I'm a peacemaker. I have stopped 8 wars, including the war between India and Pakistan. And then Trump himself started a war with Iran. First, he said, I deserve Nobel Peace Prize. He almost in every speech at that time, he said several times that I deserve Nobel Peace Prize. Please give it to me. He was trying his best to get Nobel Peace Prize, but then he failed. First, he started tariff war with the allied countries. Then he started a real war with Iran. and he also says I'm a peacemaker. So it's a hypocrisy itself. What do you say? What do you want to say? Are you going to vote for President Trump? It's a decision time in 2026, and it could be the, you know, it could be it could be a serious election for President Trump. And in my opinion, he's going to lose this. And he, a lot of times in past, he said the 2020 election was rigged. US is known for due process. It's a country where democracy exists, and who can rig the elections? But now Trump is canceling the elections. He's trying his best to get more seats. He's trying his best to win the 2026 election. So let's see what happens. US politics is getting very interesting day by day, and the situation for President Trump is also getting worse and worse. And let me know in the comment section, what do you think, guys? Please consider subscribing if you're new to this channel. It means a lot to me when you click on the subscribe button. I'll bring more important videos for you. Till then, please take care of yourself. Please take care of your health as well. It's very important.